So my machine did not come with front electric. What do we do now? Question we get all the time. We have a solution for you today, and we're about to show you how we're going to install it on our 906 cat behind us. Our rocker switch wiring system comes with 4 parts. The in-cab portion of the wiring harness, which has our add fuse and ground, which will give us power to our 3-way rocker switch, which we'll mount inside the cab, which will then lead out to the front of the machine, which has our 4-pin wire connector. From there, we have our 4-pin connector with our stretch cable that leads to the 2 solenoid harnesses, which connect here and lead right up to the DVD-E. Let's take a look at this powering side and get our machine set up from the inside first. Step 1, we're looking for keyed power in our fuse panel. Looking at here, we're going to choose the one that is attached to the radio, and we're just going to test it by attaching this to a ground, holding it on the fuse, turn the key on, power, turn it off. We do not have power. So this is the fuse that we're going to use to install our add fuse. The reason we're looking for keyed power is so that we do not leave a solenoid on and come back to a dead battery. An important part of this process is making sure we know where this junction of wires is going to go to make sure we can pull the rest of the wires through the cab the right direction. On this machine, we're going to put it in here underneath the joystick because we have plenty of space and we can go in any direction from here. Our path from there on the power side is to go through the existing hole right here and run the wires right to our fuse panel. For our ground, we're going to go to this ground that's already existing here. You're going to remove that along with the washer. Put our nice eyelet on this stud and tighten this back down. On the power side, we're going to remove the fuse that we found for our power, pull it out. We're going to put that fuse on the bottom side as our top 15 amp fuse will then be the fuse that powers our switch and plow. And then we're going to put it back in where we took the fuse from. In order to test that we have key power at our switch, turn the key on and you'll get lights on either side that'll turn on when it is activated. Our next step is to figure out which knockout we want to use. And on this machine, we have found the one right next to the joystick. And we're going to remove that and then make sure that we take a picture of where the wires go, pull out our wires, and install our switch. So again, we're going to hook up our wires and put our switch in that blank spot as it'll just snap right in. Our next step in this process might be the most difficult, as we're going to need to try and get this wiring to the front of the machine in a safe location. To do this, you're probably going to need to remove this connector at the end to make it easier to push the wire through. On this machine, we were able to follow through the existing wiring harness that goes down through the cab to the lower part of the machine. From there, we're going to find an existing hydraulic line or wiring that goes to the front of the machine in order to ensure that we will not get pulled or pinched when the machine is operating. As you can see, we've brought our wire to the front of the machine, have attached our housing to the machine, and are now ready to reconnect our wires. Remember that black is ground, red is 1, and green is 2, as you can see on the back of the connector here. With our connector back together, we're now ready to install the rest of the wiring for the front of the plow. We'll just connect our 4-pin connector here, and then move on and connect our 2 solenoid harnesses. And then install the 2 solenoid harnesses to the solenoids themselves. With the machine and everything hooked up and working, we're now going to do some finishing touches, like running the wire back to the machine, installing some zip ties, leaving some slack to make sure that nothing pulls when we first use the machine. So here you can see we have some extra wire. We're going to neatly put that inside this cavity here, just in case something would happen to pull. We have a get out of jail free card for us to use in the future. With our wires tidied up and our plate back on, we are now ready to go push through the storm. If you have any other questions, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you.